It's time again for the leg lamp of salvation. Earth, well, we're just a fixer-upper here. Heaven's moving ready. Yes, it is in time for Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. We'll introduce you to the motley crew we've got assembled this week in the TSPL. And let me tell you, there's plenty of us. Enough to qualify for the oh fudge rating that the crew so dearly deserves. We actually need all the help we can get, though, to make sure that we're wading into the snowbank of this Christmas season with plenty of proverbial coats, even though we won't be able to put our arms down. For those of us, though, who are like Randy and maybe ate a little too much ham and are now regretting our life choices, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Now, I also know what you're thinking. Why in the wide, wide world of sports are we getting references to the Bible and A Christmas Story all in the same monologue? Is it sacrilegious or just weird? The answer is, who knows, it might be both. But stick with me here and let's see where we go. Okay, so let's start here. A universal truth. Life is hard. I mean, like, hard. If this life were a house, it'd be one of those DIY nightmares where the previous owners painted over the mold and called it shabby chic. Ever tried to assemble IKEA furniture? That's basically Genesis 3 after the fall. Some assembly required, lots of repentance as well. Jesus himself actually said in Matthew 11:30, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." But let's be real. Getting to that point feels like Ralphie trying to decode little orphan Annie's secret message. Drink your Ovaltine. A crummy commercial? Pretty much. Look, we've got to be prepared for the world to throw us curveballs, maybe worse than the time Flick got his tongue stuck to the flagpole. Meanwhile, heaven's kind of moving ready. No hidden fees, no surprise, no foundation cracks, and definitely no neighbor who leaves their trash cans out all week. Revelation 21:4 says, God will wipe away every tear, which honestly sounds better than a lifetime supply of Red Ryder BB guns. But here's the kicker. Getting there, well, it's not as easy as we think. It's not as easy as surviving Christmas dinner with the in-laws. Jesus didn't say, climb the Everest of righteousness. He said, come to me. It's like Ralphie's mom finally handing him the BB gun after all that drama. You know, you'll shoot your eye out. That was just the hard part. Which brings us to Christmas. Why should we be happy God gave us his only son? Because it's the ultimate major reward. You remember the leg lamp, right? Glowing, ridiculous, glorious. It's a major reward. It's fragile. The neighbors gawked. The Bumpus's dogs probably peed on it. But old man Parker loved that thing unconditionally. Now, imagine God looking at us, messed up, doubting, sometimes as clueless as Randy, bundled in 17 layers, and saying, yep, that's my major reward. Look, John 3:16 isn't just a verse. It's the divine equivalent of God shipping us the Red Ryder BB gun of salvation with a note. No, you won't shoot your eye out this time. Trust me. So this Christmas and New Year season, while you're digesting Aunt Linda's questionable fruitcake, remember this world's a mess. Heaven, if we do it right, it could be a guarantee. And Christmas, it's proof. God's got a sense of humor. He sent his son into a world where shepherds smelled like livestock, a king threw a tantrum worse than Ralphie missing out on the decoder pins. The inn was probably an Airbnb nightmare with Cozy, aka no room for a pregnant woman. Yeah, that's where he chose to show up. Not in a palace, but a barn. Not with fanfare, but with a kid who'd grow up to say, yeah, following me is easier than surviving Drunkle's rant about self-checkout lines at dinner. So as we think about the brief break between Christmas and New Year's, full of ham, holiday cheer, fireworks, and hopefully all of your appendages, family also maybe canceling each other over politics. Let's remember, the hard part, it's here. And when it's done, it's done. God didn't give us a lamp shaped like a leg. He gave us himself. And unlike Ralphie's BB gun, this gift doesn't come with warnings, just joy. Now, if you'll excuse us, we've got weekly whiskeys galore this week. We've got the crew, and that's with a K, from Implicit Bias, trying to turn the TSPL into the Cajun booby trap version of the Home Alone house. They're trying to hunt down all of our unopened bottles to create multiple chairs of intoxication. Stick around. They're probably going to try and solve the problems of the world 1, 2, maybe 5 times as we record this show. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and don't shoot your eye out. Cheers. Caleb's threatening to lick something here in the Mr. Lester's TSPL, so we're going to make sure we get on camera so he'll stop. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. This is Implicit Bias Radio. What's the matter, Caleb?
I love how you think that'll stop me.
I just think we got a better chance, and at the very least, I do want video evidence for the lawsuit. So anyway, we're good. That is Caleb Orsi, is the Rustic Renegade. Cheers, and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you.
Salute.
It is a beautiful thing to have you back here in the Top Secret Podcast lair, as always. As at the bar, man, in this segment, we've got 2 people that I'm worried about. I can't be, I'm concerned about putting the 2 of them at the bar together. We've got Louisiana's only certified master tobacconist, also known as the CWAT, the Certified Wizard of Tobacco, Renee Girard. Renee, you know you got to eat the microphone. You got to turn it towards yourself.
Yes.
You can.
I'm
There you
here.
go. There
I
you
can
go.
lean into it, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not worried about the look here. Just lean into it. It's fine. It'll look better on the video side of this if you lean in
Oh, okay.
and take
All
the
right.
microphone to you.
Yes. Okay. How about this? This
There
is
you
better.
go. There you
Okay,
go. That's better.
But then now I got to slide it all the way across the bar over to Lee. now.
Oh, heaven forbid it's got to go a whole 1.5 feet. I mean, oh my goodness. I just don't know if you can accommodate that. Then again, I've known you for a while, so
Yeah.
maybe, like I said, I'm worried.
You know.
I'm worried.
You know.
The 2 of y'all just lean in real close and cheek to cheek it.
There you go.
We have protection with beards.
It's like Velcro.
Gross.
Ring the bell, because that was good. That was very good. Yes, they've got Velcro at the bar. That is Lee Ritter, who it's been a while, Lee.
Yeah, it's been been a long time. Feels like a long time, but it was really like January.
We've been trying to get you back and get you back and get you back. The schedules just sometimes don't work.
I'm in that season of life where kids rule.
Yeah.
And then when you run a business, it'll take you for a ride too. So it's been good.
And the best part about that is there is a season in life, not where kids rule, but kids get priority.
Oh, my kids for sure. And my wife's a teacher, so when she's off or I got to get the hall pass, I'm a down. So
Yeah.
that's just where we're at.
And what I
it's
mean
good.
is kids don't get to make the way, right? Parents rule.
Right.
Kids do get priority over a lot of things, but parents have to rule.
True enough. Well, I'm a big believer in, you don't want to miss anything because they're going to maybe only do it one time.
Agreed with
And
you
so I try to be there for everything.
Yeah, where I'm going with that is I'm a big believer in what my father used to tell me, which is, son, I will kill you and make another one just like you, so you better get straight. That's what I mean.
Yeah, back in those days, they could bury you. Nowadays,
Yeah.
we've got AI and all that other stuff. They'll track us. So,
Yeah.
I'm not making another one. They're trained. They're on their own.
All right, so let's dive into the weekly whiskey section of Implicit Bias Radio. That wonderful lull right after Christmas, right before New Year's. And man, this to me, this is one of those, it's a winter whiskey. Even though if you're somewhere in southern Louisiana, as we are at the Mr. Lester's TSPL, located somewhere in Lafayette, Louisiana, it just doesn't feel like winter outside. I mean, it was 78 degrees today. It was just stupid hot.
Balmy.
Yes.
Balmy's a good word. I thought you were going to say something else, and that would have been correct
Well,
also.
Especially this morning with the fog and everything else. Yeah, it took me a while before I went sit on the porch because it was just too moist.
Yeah, another good word. Ring the bell. Man, we've got 3 bell rings in the first 10 minutes of this segment. We're good. Okay, so let's start at the bar. This is a new riff. It comes from a member of the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective. This can only be obtained at Champagne's Market in Abbeville. The only place you're going to find this. This is a new riff pick, 6 years old, that we're going to be partial to. I mean, we just have to be because we picked it on the show. We actually picked this barrel on the air with Cody Champagne and Chris Richard, the liquor manager of Champagne's. So, Renee, were you here for that episode?
Yes, I was. That was the first time I'd ever done a pick like that. I didn't know what to expect, and it was a neat experience. But the one I liked wasn't the one that was picked. So, I feel kind of shamed.
Well, that's because your palate's crap, and we know
Well,
this.
it
So
is, yeah,
you
yeah.
hate everything.
That's true.
Everything's
I'm
a
Mikey.
yellow. You're almost as bad as Trammell with donkey whiskey.
Yeah.
But not quite. Not quite.
Yeah, because I'm here for the good whiskeys. He's not.
Yeah. No, he's been here for a lot of good whiskey lately. That's a whole nother story. Okay. So what do you think of this
I like this
6-year-old?
It's very smooth. I mean, and me being the proof princess, you'd question, well, what do you think the proof is on it? And I was only like 3 points off. I'll put it at a 112, and it's a 115. Very smooth, very drinkable. I would never guess it's a 115.
And as this opens up,
Oh,
it
yeah.
gets even better and better as it
Yep.
gets some oxygen underneath
Very
it.
good whiskey.
This profile to me is very much just that classic bourbon profile that a lot of people look for. Ritter?
Yeah. So this is my first new riff,
Really?
believe it or not. Yeah. So
I am shocked because you have, I think, more bottles in your collection than anybody I know.
Let's not put it out there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. You don't get to walk up in here and pour mouth your bourbon
I'm
collection.
not poor mouthing it. Just this is the first time I've had new riff. Okay.
There's just certain people you don't want to know how much you got in your bourbon collection.
Well, it doesn't matter. The insurance has got it covered. I've checked, so I'm solid.
Okay.
To me, this is really good when I like it. As a first time taster, I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, okay, so I'm in the glass. I'm looking at it. It's got good legs, good flavor to it. It mellows out really well. I was going to put it at 108 if asked. And so, because it's just nice and smooth and mellow. I'm a big 107, 111, 112 kind of range. And so I was like, this is hitting. And then I hear, it's like, oh, it's 115. I'm like, okay, it'll dance.
Yeah.
So I'm good with this. Like, I'm glad y'all picked it. So I'm excited. And I'm going to have to go drive down to Abbeville for two.
That's what a lot of people are probably going to need to do. And this is one of those ones that as you're getting ready for your New Year's Eve parties, you're getting ready for all that stuff, man, stop and pick this one up because it is, to me, I get on the nose that leather, I get that subtle oak, I get that hint of dark fruit that you expect to get. I do get that waft of caramel.
Save that for the next man.
Well, no,
he's going to use all those. ones.
I am going to let him do his thing because I am not going to say, oh, this tastes like that. You know those little strawberries that you only find during summer on the west side of Mama's house when you are north of I-10, only north of I-10, not the ones south of I-10, because the ones north of I-10 got a little different flavor
Yeah.
to them, right, Caleb?
Caleb,
Well, that's because you know where I grew up. That's what it is.
Caleb has his own words that he uses, his own descriptors.
Yeah, he does. And that's why I can give those high level, I do get that leathery, oaky, just beautiful bourbon scent that you expect. I mean, close your eyes and inhale on this, and you get that old school mahogany Mad Men vibe off of the nose. And then when you take that first sip, it is sweet as you would expect bourbon to be. It sits really warm on the palate. It's viscous. It's oily enough that, man, it lingers with you. It doesn't just make you want another sip. It makes you want another glass when you get that first sip. And then as you drink more and it continues to open up, it's to what Caleb said earlier. We were talking about something else. It's a force multiplier. I think every next sip you get. So Caleb, all right, let's go ahead because we know we're going to get the beautiful flowery description that I hate to admit is usually right.
And look, before I do it, I didn't have this one. I thought I did. I didn't.
Were
choose
you not
one.
on this show?
This was the one I missed that you rubbed it in that I was going for.
Oh, apparently I didn't rub it in hard enough because I would continue to rub it in just for that. I mean, by the way, so just so you know, this isn't the second time I've had this one. This makes the third time I've had this one.
Well,
how many
this
times have you
glass
had
is
it?
now my second time. So on the nose, I have my little notes: dark berry, like blackberry, then cherry skin, followed by a worn leather, not like fresh, still like robust leather, like a worn leather,
Yep.
and then earth, like an earthen smell, not dirt, but like a fresh tilled field or something like that. And then on the palate, it's that sweet. It's that not overly sweet, that immediate sweetness you expect from a bourbon. And then it surprised me with how fleeting but viscous it is. It's not overpowering at all. It's got some legs to it, but it's mild. It's very palatable. It sits around for a little while, but it doesn't want to overpower you at all. Then I get ripe fruit, oakiness, and this is where my weirdness gets in.
Wait. Only here?
Yeah. When I was a kid, my grandmother would make hot cocoa. And I don't know if it's because the cocoa she used always sat in one of those little tins for so long.
I'm about to say they sat for like 6 years.
Yeah.
Or longer.
And it wasn't, I don't remember it wasn't the yellow chocolate that everybody had, like the yellow and brown.
No, it was like the Hershey one.
It was all the Hershey.
Yeah,
All the Hershey.
solid-
was the
solid
tin.
brown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna sound kind of offensive, but it's not. It would always have that kind of metallic taste to it. That's what I get here. I get that cocoa powder with that little bit of metallic taste to it at the end.
Interesting.
And it's very strange, but it reminds me a lot of just the hot cocoa and spending time with my grandparents when I was a kid. And it finishes very, very clean. And it's unexpected, because of the forefront, the fore palate and the mid palate. The finish is man, it's welcome. Very unexpected.
It's interesting that you go Hershey's cocoa powder, not Nestle Quick, which is where I think you were going with the yellow and brown.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't
from when
that.
we were kids.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was she didn't buy that and she bought the Hershey's.
I grew up poor like you.
Yeah.
I know it.
Oh no, look,
And it was good. Look, so I'm glad you brought up the metallic because I didn't want to say it.
you got a little bit of it too.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm glad.
Honesty
So-
is the best policy.
Yeah.
So for me, I get Bourbony McBourbon on this. Like when you think of bourbon profile, I think this is what people really would expect when they are drinking a bourbon. And I've had some New Riff stuff before. I've had like the 4-year. The 4-year to the 6-year to this 6-year is such a dramatic jump. It's incredible how big of a jump the 2 years in the barrel makes. And it finishes, I think to your point, it finishes so easy. This could be trouble because, man, that easy finish, I could sit here and drink this all night. And at 115, it's
Now-
going
now
to be a
you're
problem.
Now you're rubbing it in.
You think?
I'm
I see.
trying to
I
hold
see.
it,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
see you holding the comment because we are on terrestrial radio in some places, and I appreciate your self control.
restraint?
Yes, your restraint, your self control, because I was expecting a lack of restraint or self control. Look, I love this 6-year. It is so good to me, and when you think about some of the bottles that are out there, I will tell you where this one hit for me. I actually had an opportunity to side by side this, not blind this, but side by side this with a 2025 release of Stag, not George T. Stag, but just the regular Stag, the old Stag Junior for those who know. And when I tell you they were so close,
It's got a wonderful flavor profile.
and it's a very similar profile to that one. Big caramel, soft on the finish, lingers, makes you want more, sweet on the front end. And again, at 115,
Hits way above its weight class because at 115 you wouldn't guess that drinking it. Like I think Renee guessed earlier, like 114,
Renee guessed 112.
112. And you know, I think that you have to kind of draw 112 to 115 out of it because you're like, it's got to be more
Well,
because it's smooth.
it drinks a lot smoother than the 112 that I guessed. I would put it more closer to 100 on the smoothness of it. There's no alcohol burn to it. It's a great whiskey.
Especially once it opens up.
Yeah.
For the age and the proof, it lies.
Yeah.
It's live.
No, that is a great comment. And we got to tell people what you mean by that. Because what you mean is for 6 years,
Right.
it drinks past its age.
So at 6, it's really drinking at like 9.
Yeah.
9 to 10. If you would go get a 10-year off the shelf, you're going to expect this. So you don't have to wait 4 more years.
And guess what? You also don't have to pay that price point for those extra 4 years because that's kind of where the bourbon and American whiskey world is going. The bourbon rye American whiskey world, I got a feeling you're going to start seeing some pricing start to mellow a bit, which is really interesting. The general rule is $10 per year in the barrel. That's kind of a starting estimate when we start thinking about the what would you pay championship belt chain, because we already essentially rated this. I think Renee, you and I both on that show gave it a blue. We'll let Caleb and Lee rate this as well. They don't matter, but we'll let them rate it just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, first time with New Riff, this is definitely a blue. I mean, I would go seek it out for sure. I don't know if I would. Again, I haven't bought New Riff. I just haven't been attracted to it for any kind of reason. But for somebody who's not had one, I think this is an introductory. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna have to go find some more, and hopefully find some that are in that good price point outside of buying just the store pick. You know?
Yeah.
So it was good. I mean, it's a blue for me.
Caleb,
I don't want it to give it a blue because we've been passing out blues like Skittles lately.
I know we
But-
have found some really good whiskeys as of late.
But this is
Well,
just
we've been-
wonderful. Like
We've
I
been
need
doing
it.
a lot of store picks too. So, you know,
Yeah, well, true. So we've been getting a lot of just really high quality stuff.
We are getting full on Men in Black. The best of the best of the best, sir. Still don't know why we're here.
And that's what we have here. It's 100% a blue. You can't deny it.
You got to remember on a store pick, right? So they've been whittled down barrels
Yep.
to 5 to 6 that you're going to pick from. That distiller's like, I think this guy or this area, they're going to like it. So I'm going to give you these choices, and there's going to be a hidden gem in there. They're never going to tell you. And if you're working with a partner who's done it long enough, who has a good palate, they're going to pick out the top flight or the next one almost every time. So if you're going to a reliable partner who's doing store picks, who's done store picks for a long time, they're not going to miss. They're going to miss, but you go to the Hall of Fame with hitting 300, right? These guys are going to hit like 990.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's what I like about doing store picks. Like Kavan and I, we've done what 2 or 3 different barrels together, I think.
At least 3.
And we'll
No.
sit there and we'll talk. Like, look, this is what I like. This is what, and this other one's what you should buy.
I mean,
Like, this
yeah,
is what'll sell. This is what we want.
but this
what'll
is
sell.
this is the first one that we've done on the show, and the first one I participated in, and I'd never heard of New Riff before. But you know what? I think I'm gonna go and buy some of this stuff now.
Yeah, but Renee, that's because we always turned off your hearing aids before we started
Well,
talking
that's
about
true.
New Riff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Sometimes you make it too easy. Okay, so now we need to play What Would You Pay for the What Would You Pay Championship Belt Chain presented by Box Drop of Lafayette. Okay, so Renee, what would you pay for this bottle of New Riff? How good do you think this liquid is?
Oh, I would think it's a $100 bottle, but I don't think it sells for $100. I'm thinking more like $69.
$69, but you think it's a $100 bottle. Okay, or should be $100.
Yeah.
$64.99. I hope it's
60.
you can go there.
$64.99. So Renee, your first one, because he's just confusing me now. Your first one was
69.
69, 64. Caleb?
I should have written this down. I didn't have the book open. My bad. God dog, you guys.
Use your AI now.
$79.99. $79.99. It should be $80.
Our winner is Lee Ritter.
Whoop.
This is a $55.99 bottle of whiskey for $56. 1 penny shy of $56. You can have this New Riff. You got to go to Champagnes in Abbeville to get it. But look, go down there and seriously look at that selection. They've got some stuff down there that's unobtainium. You want to go wherever you've got members of the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective. Make sure it's Benny's in Opelousas, Champagnes in Karen Crow, our buddies there, Ambassador Wine and Spirits in Lafayette. You've got News in Youngsville and Maurice, and of course, Champagnes in Abbeville, where you can get what we just reviewed, this New Riff, 6 years old, 115.8 proof. And we're going to let it mellow a bit because we got some fun stuff coming up as we think about what could be coming in the new year. And man, why? We need to make sure that we're getting through the tough stuff early so that we can have fun later on Implicit Bias Radio. Cheers. Implicit Bias Radio rolls on as we barrel towards the new year. Yeah, this life, this is the hard part. After this, that's the good stuff. Why? Because the crew is in the TSPL and we're just blabbing while we drink whiskey, solving the problems of the world. At the bar, we've subbed somebody in. I told you we had a bunch of people here in the crew. Short, poor, burly Pellerin has joined us.
From the bullpen.
From the bullpen. Send me the righty.
What's up, my brothers?
Not much. How's the new riff? What you think?
Dude, you know what I was thinking?
No, I don't really want to know what you're thinking,
Well,
but
I'm
you're on
going
the
to tell
show.
you what
So
I'm thinking. If you had to show up at a place
Oh, yes.
and sit in a proper bourbon drinking room that had all the smells, including the dust and the dirt that you were talking about earlier and the earthiness, the leather,
Yeah.
whatnot, if I had to bring a whiskey, I would bring this. And I don't know if I would have ever said that about a whiskey. But when you said, Caleb, about the earthiness of it, this is what I would sit quietly and have on my own and not tell a soul about it.
I will say this. This is what I get from this. I get, when I sip it, the Mr. Lester's TSPL.
Yes.
I get Mr.
Yes.
Lester's as an image in my head when I sip this.
The sophistication.
Correct.
This is an when it, because it drinks so easy at 115. It's one that you would introduce to someone who's not a big bourbonite,
Correct.
and you just smile.
Bourbonite? That's a
I
new
like that
word.
word,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a new word.
Samsonite. That's my last name.
And you could feel confident in letting them experience bourbon, McBourbony bourbon.
Well,
Bourbon, bourbony,
Bourbon,
McBourbon.
but
Yes,
whatever.
you'll get it right.
and that's what I like about
That's
it
your
so
saying.
much is like this is like the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra.
Exactly.
Yes.
Miles
It is.
Davis,
It is.
that's what
It
this
is that
is.
good, and it fits in the profile so well that I would slide it in there, and that's what I would bring.
Agree 100%.
One day we'll have background music.
We have lead-in music. We have bump music.
Get the background. I want Tug to do that for us.
Well, you don't want to do background because it kind of takes away in the background, especially if there's words. You don't make that editing faux pas.
Ambiance.
You don't. No. Anyway, speaking of ambiance, the more the zeitgeist, not the ambiance, is what we're going for, right? So the feeling of the times right now is something that has to be addressed, and it's only been now officially almost a full 5 years, right? It's been almost a full 5 years, and We take zero pleasure in jumping up and down and saying, we were right here. No, Caleb. No, I know. I said the word we take zero pleasure.
A ton of pleasure.
And yeah, I know. Anyway,
Victory laps must be had.
victory laps on this one must be had. And this is important. And here's why.
Yep, yep.
Because, man, the 2020 election, we're going to go back there. We said there is no way, no how that the 2020 election was on the up and up. And I love visiting this. So please follow me here. And now we've got proof. In order to believe that the 2020 election was on the up and up, here's what you have to believe. You have to believe that at a certain time of the night, a water main broke where they were counting votes where?
Atlanta.
In Georgia, in Fulton County,
It's the specific county to be
right?
honest.
It is
Yeah.
Fulton County.
That's very important.
So you have to believe that a water main broke there. At the same exact time that the water main broke and they said we have to stop counting because of the water main, they also then said in every other swing state left, we're going to stop counting here, which was Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, that whole Rust Belt, right? There were 5 states. Pennsylvania was another one where they stopped counting all at the same time and said, we're not going to be able to make it through the night counting the votes. So you have to believe that. You also then have to believe that in every single state where they stopped counting, the guy who had the lead all of a sudden lost because at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, you saw an influx of votes where one candidate got 100% of the votes for statistical purposes. Might not have been 100, might have been 9,999 out of 10,000 votes. But statistically, one candidate just all of a sudden got every single vote. You have to believe that in the bellwether counties, counties where presidents have historically won a vast majority in order to win, that for the first time ever, a candidate could win one bellwether county and win the presidency, lose the other 18 or 19 counties and win. You have to believe all of those things at exactly the same time happened to believe that that election was on the up and up. Now, let's bring you full circle. Because Rudy Giuliani attempted to sue in Georgia, claiming, hey, guess what? This was not on the up and up. They actually attempted to impeach Donald Trump for saying, hey, I want you to look into Fulton County. Can anybody in here tell me what's happened in Fulton County in the last week? What news has come out of there? Yeah, Ritter, you got to take the microphone.
Well, Burley was hogging, and I thought he was going to come in, so I was just patient. I'm like
I
the
was
kid on
waiting.
the side. They found out that he was right, and they had some evidence come out. And
So let's be real specific here.
you cite the evidence. I
So
just read it.
I'll give you
fast.
the- I'll give you the
It's not
evidence.
that they found out
Yeah.
he was right.
They knew he was right and withheld it.
Okay, so here's what was revealed. I'm not going to say released because some of us, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, who weren't gullible enough to take whatever the media was putting in our mouth and swallowing. No, some of us knew from the beginning that something wasn't right here. The attorney for the county voting board admitted,
That's the word I was
this
looking
is
for.
the big thing. The attorney for the county voting board admitted that they certified over 300,000 votes that had no signatures on the tabulators.
And the thing is, according to their state law,
Correct.
it has to have that signature, right? And how many votes did he win by? 11,000.
Biden won by 11,000 votes, yes.
So Biden won by 11,000. It was 315,000.
305,000.
Just there.
Correct.
Just there.
And that county, by the way, for those who don't know, votes 90 to 100% one way. And it wasn't the way of the guy who probably should have won the election.
How dare you ask questions?
When you were going down the road about you also have to believe,
Yeah.
right? You also have to believe that no one voted for anyone else.
Correct. No,
In
no
all
third
of
party,
the
nothing
elections
else.
that
Yeah.
were going on. They weren't voting for their councilmen. They weren't voting for their school board members. They weren't voting for city council
On those ballots, correct.
on those ballots.
They were single vote ballots.
It was-
nothing else. No other race was voted.
You know, that's a good point, Burley, because now that I think about it, once everything closes, right? So once the
The polls-
the polls,
Because-
polls
ballot boxes
close.
that's you only vote for one person one way one time. That's just how it is.
But there were people who were expecting because of this that the elections
Well,
for
so-
all these other races were going to go this way, and
Correct.
they just weren't there. They're like, oh wait, crap.
Well, the point is, you had all Republican votes for Senate. You had Republican votes
Yeah.
for Congress. This was not a down
Yeah,
ticket
I was going
vote.
to say the down ballot was,
Right.
was all right except for the top ticket.
Correct. Now,
It's just they
Now-
voted for one person one way, one time.
Now.
after it closed, that's all.
here's the really interesting part. And this is what people really forgot. Number one, there is a recording of the Georgia Secretary of State at the time, Rattensberger, the big rat, and that's not his actual last name, but he's a rat, saying Donald Trump has won this election. There is a recording. Please don't believe me on this. He actually said it. But was it his future son-in-law, or was it Kemp, the governor's future son-in-law, who right as they were getting ready to start the fight over
I
Georgia,
think it was the governor's.
the governor who was supposed to fight to get the
Yeah.
right results, the true results. I'm not going to say the true results. His son-in-law died in a car that suddenly exploded. It wasn't a car wreck. It was a car explosion. I mean, we're going back to the CNC Music Factory, 1988. Things that make you go, I mean,
Look, some lessons you learn the hard way. And when some people want to tell you, to back off or to listen to things a certain way, sometimes people that want to teach you that lesson they do it with a sledgehammer.
we ain't saying. We're just saying. Ritter?
I mean, is it the Chicago way?
Well, let's face it, that's always been the Chicago
I
way.
mean, that's
I love that New Orleans and Louisiana, and New Orleans is bad enough that's its whole own thing, but Louisiana's bad enough. We have always gotten the moniker of Louisiana politics, but let's face it, the only place that has ever been worse for corruption than Louisiana consistently is Chicago and the state of Illinois. Does anybody know why they call it the Windy City?
I do.
So I know why.
It's
It's
got
not-
nothing to do about the wind
Correct. Why, Burley?
because it was a stone
It was because the politicians ran
where
their
they
mouths so
stopped.
much.
Right, they
Yeah.
ran their mouths so much. I want to say not stomping ground, but
Stump speeches.
Stump speeches.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Because
You
that's where it came about. Because they blew so much hot air,
Correct. That's exactly
That
what it is.
they-
The politicians.
they gave it the moniker of
The Windy City, because that's where the wind came from. And it really probably, if it was Illinois, it was more of the politicians breaking wind because that's the mouth they were
And
talking
it's
out of.
It is kind of
not-
a double entendre because it is a very windy city.
Yes.
coming off the lakes, but that's not why.
So the question here is, Rudy Giuliani basically got bankrupted over trying to
it was
fight
horrible.
for this.
Yeah.
What they did to the man was insane. Now, especially knowing that he was right. Do they owe Rudy Giuliani to go back and look 5 years after, and now that the evidence is actually coming out? Because he tried to subpoena all this evidence. They wouldn't let him have stuff like this. I mean, go back and read this case. It's insane.
but where's the proof of them ever going back on both
Yeah,
sides
they'll
to
never-
correct the wrongs? They never do.
Yeah, they'll
It-
just
it-
say, forget that.
They
and
say they
move forward.
should. We're sorry, and then hurry up, and the next disaster comes, and that's it. And they will do something.
Well, hopefully in 2026, we see some actual results because it's going to have to happen. It's only got 3 years left now, basically, as opposed to having 4 under this administration to try and write it. I'm also told that we only have, 2 segments left one segment left in hour one, Tug? One segment. Man, this episode of Implicit Bias is rolling by. We'll be back, close up hour 1, and bring in hour 2, which is always more fun on Implicit Bias Radio. We're trying to make it difficult here so it's easier in the afterlife that is promised by our great creator. This is Implicit Bias Radio. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. This is the final segment of hour 1, which means that hour 2, which is always more fun, is not far away. Let me introduce you to the crew here in the Mr. Lester's TSPL. At the bar, he is Lee Ritter. It's nice to have him back. We also have Burley Short Pour Pellerin, who apparently has been in charge of his own pours, and that's a problem. And of course, we have Caleb Morse. He is the Rustic Renegade, your co-host. Welcome in. Okay. So first of all, they probably still have some. I don't know how much they have, but we got to tell people what they can go get at Mr. Lester Steakhouse. If you are looking for a place to grab dinner before New Year's Eve, and you can make it down there this Saturday night, which is for those who are listening on the radio side, when this will air Friday night, if you're listening on podcast, when this will actually hit the podcast stream, it will be Friday. And you might even get in like New Year's Eve. No, they won't be open Wednesday, but New Year's Day, the next couple of days. Very old St. Nick down there is just
God.
the stuff.
So I have a bottle, and the other day we were doing a little celebration at the shop, and I cracked it open, and everybody lost their mind because just that very old Saint Nick, when you can find it.
So that bottle's so good. Burley went and muled some a couple of years ago,
Yes.
and I drank everybody else's and still have mine unopened.
So
I was like, he was like, yeah, how many? And Kavan's like, Burley's over there, and he said he can get us, blah, blah, blah. I was like, put me in.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's on my shelf every Christmas. I'm like,
Next time I
Maybe.
see it, I'm gonna be like, I'll take it all.
yeah.
So I'm gonna give you a hint. There are some members of the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective who have some on the shelf.
There are.
So if you are looking for, they have the Immaculata, I know, which
Oh,
are
yeah,
yes,
that's a lot of too.
yes. Burley's
He's getting his
excited.
mule cart going.
Burley's
Are you playing
excited.
with your mustache over there?
Yes. Well, kind of this, but
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So I want to get into this story because we've just passed Christmas. And this is such a Christmas story that we've never delved into. But especially given my work history, some of this I already knew, not all of it though. So there was a very short video, went from TikTok to X, where there is this guy who is alleging that basically the entire history of Santa Claus as we know it is wrong. That Santa Claus as we know it was an amalgam of multiple people. A former saint who was about to be essentially pulled from sainthood, which was not going to happen. I've looked into this and I've filtered through some of the truth here. Santa Claus, Saint Nick, who was obviously the nomenclature for Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus, right? And then, there's the others that you've got out there that are very, very distinct with regards to names that Santa Claus can have. One of which was supposed to be a Danish chimney sweep. Who could
Santa Claus.
Nope.
No?
That's not
That's
the
Dutch.
one.
That's Dutch. Sorry. Yeah.
No. Yeah, that movie was on. Yeah, no, Popo
Sorry, I'm over
Gijo.
here talking with them. Like, I'm about to start running them all.
Okay, so Ritter, who was the one who was the
Don't put me
chimney
on the
sweep?
spot.
Oh, come on.
No.
Okay, names for Santa Claus. Santa Claus,
Papa Noel.
Papa Noel. No, not
Papa
Popo.
Noel.
Papa Noel, right?
I don't remember.
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas.
His brother's name is Krampus.
No. Regardless,
Claus is
That's
his
too
other brother.
German.
I'm gonna give y'all some time to come up with this.
Look, I don't
But
know.
at the end of the day,
Will you
here's
just say it.
here's the fun part. No, because I can't remember it right now, and I was trying to.
I mean, the truth of the matter is Santa Claus was Uncle David when he fell off the roof. When I was little, that's how it happened, right? So-
Scott Claus, if you're going to
Yeah,
go there.
yeah. No, it was
Okay.
not Scott Claus. Here's the really interesting part. The really interesting part is we think we know Santa Claus as jolly old elf, overweight, rosy cheeks.
I never thought
red,
it was an elf. That's
red
the
and
thing.
white. Well, that was one of the references,
I've never
right?
thought it was
Rosy
an elf.
cheeks,
Suit's always
red
an
and
elf.
red and white suit. Red and white are the colors of a very specific brand.
Coca-Cola.
Okay, so this is the parts of that story that are true. So number one, the image of Santa Claus that we have today
Totally
basically came from Coca-Cola. Like they had images of him being overweight, of him having white hair and a beard, but not the red and white costume, not the jolly smile with a Coca-Cola in his hand, the Coca-Cola Santa truck, which rolls around,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Coca-Cola had a Christmas sales problem because Coke was viewed as a summer drink.
Well, ever since they took the cocaine out of it, I mean, that's what it was.
No,
well,
this is before that.
That
though.
is, yeah,
This
that's,
is even before
That's
that.
the 30s, right?
yep. Oh no,
No,
this
this
is
is even older.
this
than
is
that.
like 1918.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is a few years
way
before
older
that.
than
Okay, yeah, yeah.
But the point here
Well,
being,
that's right, because that's when Dr. Pepper was taking 10, 2, and 4. That's when they took a big part of the market share, too.
Dr. Pepper is actually older than Coca-Cola,
Yeah.
has been around longer.
Isn't it the first? I thought it was
Yes,
the first.
it is one of the
I'm sorry,
first.
And,
I threw
and
it-
it
I threw us
had
off the rails,
its
I'm
own medicinal
Yes.
qualities.
Yep.
as
That's
it
what
were.
10, 2, and 4 meant. But yeah, so they rejuvenated Santa Claus to the image of Coca-Cola.
They didn't rejuvenate the image of Santa Claus. They remade Santa Claus in a Coca-Cola brand image.
And look, here's the thing, too, is that's not the first time that's happened. Not necessarily with Santa Claus, but that has happened with other...
Oh, companies try to do this all the time. The most successful version of this, though, is Coca-Cola with Santa Claus. Because think about it. Every Santa Claus
That
in a
is not the
mall,
most successful one.
every Santa Claus in a mall around the country looks like the Coca-Cola Santa Claus. Here's how it's even bigger. The religious implications of rebranding.
This is where I'm going to go with it.
What's the most hallowed event in Christianity? Not just Catholicism, Christianity.
Well, it should be Easter, but most would say Christmas.
Okay, before the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, it always was Easter. The Coca-Cola Santa Claus re-established Christmas as what it is now today. And what's even more interesting, and this came straight from internet research, so please don't believe me on this, go look this up. Take a guess what was really not a very big gift-giving holiday until people became jealous of Christmas for Christians because of the Coca-Cola branding.
Valentine's Day.
Nope.
Oh.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Hanukkah was not a big deal,
and it's not about the gifts. So people,
but it wasn't supposed to be.
It was never supposed to be.
But children wanted the same experience that Christian children were getting, so it got rebranded. Now, by the way, just so you know, and this is always fun, Kwanzaa's not a religious holiday. It was literally made up in the 60s. Just so you know, you can celebrate Kwanzaa. I don't care, but it's not a religious holiday. It wasn't set up to be a religious holiday. So literally, you now got multiple celebrations in December because of the rebranding of the Coca-Cola Santa Claus, or the rebranding of Santa Claus by Coca-Cola. It is genius marketing. You think about
marketing works, and look, we've been doing it since the mid 1500s.
Okay, so where are you going with this?
So, one of the last big crusades, all the men were off fighting; they were away, right? So the church noticed a big drop and decline in tithes. So Jesus went from being the man that wove a whip right there and chased off the coin changers of his father's church to he's your lover, he's your friend, he's your confidant. And that's whenever we notice the shift in how we view our Christ. And look, that was the first take of marketing. Then you have Constantine, and there's many other. Then you have like what the Baptist Church did with their version of marketing and all as well. So do we have religion setting the pace for business, or do we have business setting the pace for religion?
Unfortunately, I think you have a mix of the two, which is just unavoidable, because as much as I hate to say it, especially whatever religion you're looking at now, the religions are businesses. And they have to be, especially in the United States, because of the way that things function governmentally in the United States.
The government set it up to where religion was no longer something you necessarily just believed in. It's something you spent money on.
By the way, the alleged Danish burglar who would dislocate his shoulders because he was a chimney sweep and go down chimneys, rob and leave, was allegedly named Kris Kringle. Not the case. Not the case.
Yes.
I was looking it up. I still couldn't find it. It just came to me. Turns out that is not that's not a true story.
If he ever
that is not a true.
If he ever fell down the chimney, he could be like Chris Cripple. So.
The bell is getting overused tonight.
No, it's not getting overused. This is just this has been an enjoyable, fun conversation.
A lot of quips. A lot of quips.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was unique because I always knew that the current image of Santa Claus that we all have is and was crafted by Coca-Cola. Here's the bigger thing. So you brought it to government sets it up, so religion has to be a business. You think government wasn't paying attention to what Coca-Cola did with that image and how they rebranded it?
I think government was heavily involved.
I don't know that they were involved. I don't know that they were involved, but
they were
to know
involved.
that they didn't take that case study and use it in other places.
They were involved.
I want to say
Government's involved in everything
that
it
they
can
took the lesson and
Bingo.
made it better.
Bingo. That's, again, ring the bell because that's the case. They looked at it and said, gee, look what's happened with repetitive imagery in a short amount of time. Mm-hmm. 10 years, and all of a sudden, Santa Claus looked like nothing other than what Coca-Cola drew.
And that was with limited avenues.
Correct.
Think about it. Print. That was print. That was print.
Yep.
Today,
print,
it's instantaneous.
print then television.
So they paid attention so that moving forward, they figured, wait a minute, we could blast this, especially if we control every avenue of what people see in the delivery systems to be able to get this stuff out. That's where the bell rings, because that's where so much of that stuff is just, if you see it enough times, you're going to believe it. And if you see it on multiple channels, you're going to believe it.
That brings us right back to the conversation from the last segment where we were talking about people who were literally looking at all of the stuff and going, no, the election was as secure as ever. The election was as secure as ever. They just saw the same branding that Coca-Cola put on Santa Claus, put on an election,
Well, and
put on an election, and that was that. We do have to wrap up this segment. I did give Tug the finger back, and I didn't give him the 1 minute finger. I gave him a different finger, but we do have to wrap it up. We do have to obey Tug because, man, we're at the end of hour 1. Stick around for hour 2 because there's more Weekly Whiskey. There's always more fun. Why? Because it's Implicit Bias Radio. Hour 2 of Implicit Bias Radio, and you know, during the holidays, it's only fair that we do a little bit extra. Then again, when it comes to Weekly Whiskeys, it's hard to do extra in 2 hours for what we do from a normal show on Implicit Bias Radio.
It's hard to do anything in 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. That is Caleb Morris, who thinks better of himself than anybody else does.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I hold my breath for a little while.
That's all right, Caleb.
Somebody's got to do it.
That is the voice of Rene Girard. He is the certified wizard of tobacco, Louisiana's only certified master tobacconist, and the only guy who hasn't said anything in the last 5 minutes is Lee Ritter.
Hi.
That's what we thought. He is not aware that this is an audible medium where you actually have to talk for people to hear you.
Go listen to hour 1.
Yeah, there you go. Go listen to hour 1.
Caleb over here.
Okay, so we always have a fun time on this show with our Implicit Bias Liquor Collective. For those who listen, if you're listening in New Orleans, thank you. If you're listening in Monroe, in that area, thank you. If you're listening in the Lafayette area, thank you. But that means that we also do our best to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to maybe get some of the weekly whiskeys that we actually sample on the show.
The only people that really struggle to get the whiskeys that we offer and that we our collective offers are our Antarctica listeners.
Yeah.
And we're trying to find y'all somebody, but
The Nazis down there who stayed there from World War II just have a difficult time procuring whiskey.
I love how you went there.
We went to Antarctica to Nazis, and that's not even the same continent that they're talking about.
No, it's very much the same.
Very
Well, I
much
mean,
the
yeah.
same continent. No,
Are we going
Ritter.
Argentinians? Are we
No,
going?
no. So hold on. During World War II,
Okay.
the Nazis actually went to Antarctica,
Okay.
and they were searching for everything from occult memorabilia, occult items, to potentially whether they thought it was aliens, whatever. And if you really go down that rabbit hole, I mean, they've got their Glockenspiel, which very much looked like the Kecksburg Bell in
It's a
Pennsylvania.
very, very
It's a
deep
deep rabbit hole.
In Antarctica.
In Antarctica.
They
yeah.
also have
read every now and then, you'll be okay.
I wanna
have,
hug
they
you.
have the
I
big
really do.
they have the big Nazi base that's hidden down
Oh,
there.
there you go.
You
Renee
know.
knows.
Yeah.
Renee knows.
I'll need to go do some digging.
Well, I was there when they started to do that. You know? I was alive back when they were going
Renee-
out and
They
looking
Renee-
for
called
it.
you out.
I was
They
about
called
to
you
say,
out.
Renee, you were there before the ice cap was on Antarctica. That's a
Well,
whole
yeah.
different story.
I was there when they surveyed that area.
The funny part is there are maps from the Middle Ages that have Antarctica before it had an ice cap, and they are accurate to the landmass using LiDAR today. Whole different rabbit hole. We're not going there.
That's a whole nother show.
Whole nother show, but a fun rabbit hole nonetheless. Okay. In order for us to get weekly whiskeys to all of our listeners, we have to have whiskeys from those areas. Dornax has been a great partner in the New Orleans area, and they have provided us with some of their weekly whiskeys. And this, a rare character
Bruh.
at 119 proof. Go ahead, Lee. We'll let you start because you have the most prolific collection. I know you don't want anybody knowing it, but you
That's
have,
because he
talked
doesn't,
about this
he doesn't
last hour.
drink it.
No, I do drink it.
No,
but
it's
I have a 2-is-1 policy.
I was about to say, Ritter
Yeah, yeah.
introduced me to the if I have one, I have none.
One is
If I
none,
have
two is one, three is a spare.
Correct.
Right. And we don't talk about anything after 3.
All right, what do you think about this rare character?
Man, wow. This one's bold. Man, this one comes at me. It's got good flavor, good nose. I mean, a really good nose. I get caramel, softness on the caramel. It's got good legs if you spin it, good color, a little bit of haze in it, not super dark.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
Okay, I put actually a couple drops of water and whiskey in this one.
All right, twist my arm.
And when I tell you my initial tasting of this, here's your pipette, so you can put drops in, not
It's a fancy
More than
word
that?
for a dropper.
the first time I had it, I was actually on Nicole Dornack's show with her in New Orleans a few weeks ago. And it seemed a little rough around the edges.
What?
Okay, so that's the interesting
Wrong.
part. That's the interesting part. This sip, now it's been opened. It's been sitting open for a couple of weeks. I put a little water and whiskey in it, which I didn't do on that show. When I tell you that this is coming to America whiskey.
Yeah. But
Why? Because this is beautiful.
Yeah.
This what is this
one right
velvet?
here.
What is this velvet? I mean, this is velvety
didn't
to
bring
a
water.
T.
Yeah. Caleb,
What's that, Caleb?
Caleb, pass the water.
Stop holding out.
We got a dropper up here. All we need is the water.
Okay, Caleb, you corroborate my story if you would.
Yeah, and look, I'm not going to lie to you. On the nose, if I was just smelling it,
Yes.
I wouldn't buy it because it's soft. it's caramel, and it's lacking.
Delicate.
It's lacking, I think, on the nose because it is so delicate. On the palate, oh my God, heavy caramel followed by clove, complex, robust, not a lot of legs, which makes you want more. And at 100 and what proof?
119. 119 and change.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is the kids aren't home.
Here we go.
And
This is where it gets fun.
yep, this is the kids aren't home, and you clean the
Wait.
house, you wash clothes, you put them away. The trash was taken out, and your wife came in and she's like, "Did you light a candle?"
And you did.
That's
and you did.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, did Ritter just say the lights are out?
No. Yeah.
No.
Dim.
No, the lights are on, but dim.
Dim. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, you remembered that's our anniversary?" And you're like, "Yes,
It is.
Tonight? Yes.
Yeah.
yes."
Every
yes.
night can be tonight.
This is like for once in your life, everything goes right.
That's a really, really amazing review.
7 years, 7 months.
Okay, Renee.
Oh my God.
You don't like 119.
No, and I don't.
You don't like 107.
Well, except for the last one. The riff was good. This one was a little hot until I put some water and whiskey in it. 2 drops,
And
smooth. It's like
Tell-
better than velvet.
Tell
Yeah.
me you don't like it hot. Like everyone likes it hot, you know?
No, I don't like it hot. I don't like sweating.
Yeah.
So I tasted about half my taste without the water and whiskey, and I gave the description. This one rounds it out.
Yeah.
When I say rounds it out, it takes you from a double to that grand slam, and everybody curtain calls you out there, and you're like, "Yep, pour me a second and a third because I'm going to go right through 2."
the 2 drops
Yeah.
of water and whiskey that I put in it took any cornered edges on it and it rounded them
Yep.
so perfectly.
Yep.
So smooth, and then it's not even peppery. There's just nothing on it, and it's higher proof than what we had in the first hour. And this thing is just it's this one's a drinker now.
And a lot
this
of
is-
caramel in it.
Caramel.
I'm telling you, this is
I can't get out of 2025 without Renee trying to, because Renee does not understand that Carmel is a place. Spell Carmel for me. Spell Carmel.
Carmel.
Correct. That is a
Okay.
place. Spell
And-
caramel for me.
Carmel.
Nope. Carmel, the place, is spelled Carmel. Caramel, the food, is spelled Caramel.
And-
There's another
and-
A in
oh,
it.
there's an A.
We
in
went
there?
through
Yes.
this. We went through this. I played you the Oxford Dictionary pronunciation.
You could have stopped
for
at I played you.
American pronunciation of this word.
And we
and it
pronounce
is-
it wrong in
and it's
America. We do.
Caramel.
We pronounce it wrong.
It don't matter. I'm an American, damn it.
You referenced hard Oxford, and all I've ever heard you rail against is British. And you were
Yeah, but-
referencing hard. I played you Oxford. I played you Oxford.
Yeah, but that's Kavan's
Where's
favorite
Webster, man?
reference book is the Oxford Dictionary. I used his own book against him. When
No,
he gives his definitions
His
of
favorite
words,
reference book
it's
is probably
Oxford.
the Bible, being honest with
Well,
you.
yeah,
was
but
about
when
to
he,
say-
when he wants to give us definitions, he uses the Oxford Dictionary.
Not the spellings. I use the definition. Spelling and definition are 2 different things.
Are you
One's a
going Webster
thesaurus
then?
and one's a dictionary.
Webster is usually a lot of times where I
So
go.
back to
Yeah.
Dornax.
I mean, you went
this
Oxford.
is
Okay,
just
okay.
where
He
it's
Hold
does
on.
Oxford.
Okay, hold on.
like
Caleb,
back to Dornax.
Thank
this
you.
is just a phenomenal pick. It really is. And like this is, you get home and you're like, baby, you gonna put the outfit on that I like? She goes, "Psh, it's going on the floor anyway. That's all the greeting you need. All you need.
look,
Well done.
there are so many picks that we have gotten, and this is what amazes me. There are so many picks that we have gotten on this show recently that have just been so good.
I have a complaint.
I'll talk about the artwork in a minute.
No, I don't care. The artwork's nice.
The
There's
artwork
a
was-
novel on the back of this.
The
Who
art-
the hell reads this much on the back of a bottle? How much do they expect you to dedicate to
Well,
this?
Caleb, they all know you can't read anyway. So
Like, oh my God.
here's the
5 words. That's what you get.
Here's the
5.
point. There are so many whiskeys that we have gotten on this show that are picks from stores all around that are such good liquid in the bottle. We are in a place right now, I think, in the bourbon, rye, American whiskey world where we are about to hit the sweet spot of quality and price for the next 4 to 5 to 6 years.
I mean, if you
Easy.
see a store pick, buy it. Unless you're at Target,
Almost.
you know.
Almost. I mean, Ritter, you and I were having this discussion about the amount of liquid that was produced in the heyday of the big bourbon boom.
Well, So I think you said there was the how did you describe it? 2017. It was the peak of
Oh, it was the peak of the hipster who
hipsters,
thinks
right.
they like
But
bourbon.
You said it was
and-
17. I said it was probably 17 into the fall of 19.
Agreed.
Then when everybody got to stay home for 5 to 12 months,
Yep.
everybody discovered
20.
drinking,
Wait,
right? Which was 20.
Who stayed home during that?
Well, there were some folks that did across this country. Most of us
Lazy.
worked in his
Just
room.
lazy.
So, but what happened is distilleries couldn't keep up, right?
We're going to get to that last
So-
story at the end
right,
of the show, but
right. But to talk about how we're going to see a shelf that's going to change dynamically,
yep.
and we kind of mentioned, I think, in the first hour about those store picks and how they're done. What's about to hit with all of that because of the downfall in 5 years of what's happened with the production and the pallets, it could be a golden era and good for your pocketbook too.
We are
I
getting the honey barrel of the honey barrel from basically every distillery when they start bringing these in.
Every time, every time,
yes,
every time,
every
every
single
time. It's
time.
gonna be like, we don't know what to do with this, so we need to push it.
And look, there are people out there who want certain labels. I get it. You're collecting the labels. I understand that. I've got a lot of those labels on my bar, and there are some of those labels that I love. But the reality is, some of the difference between the $60 bottle and the $170 bottle is literally a guy sitting in a room tasting one barrel and going, that is this, that is that.
No
and
one
it's
likes
the, it's
you.
the
Steve.
same. It's
no
the
one
same.
likes you, Steve. Just
No,
stop it.
if you go to the big houses, they'll put it on YouTube how they do their selections, and you'll see the tiers on their wheel,
Mhm.
and then you'll realize exactly what you said visually, and you get really mad.
It's the exact same distillate put into a barrel.
Yeah, it's
The exact same
them,
age.
hey, we're short on this label, so put that label on it.
Now look, to be fair, to be fair, some distilleries will say this does not meet the standards that we need for this particular label for this year, so we're not releasing it. That's been done. And kudos to them for the
They'll
quality
just sit
control.
on it for another year and charge us
You mean
another
kudos to them?
$20 a bottle.
You mean
If
kudos
it
to
work-
them for
if it
integrity?
works like that, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes it won't.
Hold on one
Sometimes that
second.
barrel won't do.
Caleb, you got a
You
question?
mean kudos to them for integrity?
And look, that you don't see that a whole bunch. The quality control and the integrity of saying this does not meet the standards of the bottle that we want to charge $170 for, but this does meet the standards of the barrel that we want to charge $60 a bottle for.
Yeah.
You know, congratulations. That's a big deal.
Well, that's what we expect, and that's the standard that we should hold people to. Because if you're putting out juice and you say it's worth $175, $200 a bottle, and it's not, call them out on their BS.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
There's too many people
So
that are sitting there and just.
So
like,
I'm going to go ahead and be very transparent about the label that I'm talking about, because for those who know, you know. If you don't, you're probably like, man, stop the inside joke. And you're right. The label that I'm talking about is there was a year that George T. Stagg was not released by Buffalo Trace. They literally said, we do not have liquid that meets the age and the quality of George T. Stagg. We have some that meets what then was called Stagg Jr. So they released Stagg Jr. They then changed the label. That's just Stagg now.
yeah.
And
is
what
still
I will
damn
say
good.
is this.
I mean,
The 142 release this year is straight fire. It is fantastic.
Well, I mean, when a manufacturer does that, they have a cheaper label that they can use. They'll utilize the juice from that into the cheaper label. I mean, there's a lot of industries that'll do that. The quality of the goods that they're doing might not meet their premium standards, so we're going to sell it at the generic price.
Well, so
Generic label.
So relate that to tobacco leaf. When you have a bad crop and a good sunny crop, or what?
they
how would
flavor
that? How would that profile over from a whiskey to like a
Well, there's
tobacco,
a
right?
lot of
'Cause you get a lot of
manufacturers.
rain in one month.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
it'll
affect the
change.
leaf, right?
It'll change the quality of the tobaccos.
Explain that.
And there's a lot of manufacturers that's why most manufacturers have multiple labels, and they'll move tobacco or blends up and down according to the quality of the product. I mean, same thing.
that happening in cigars, that happening in whiskey. Now the
Oh, yeah.
problem I think you've got with whiskey in the whiskey world right now is you got a lot of labels that, because the boom was so big, they entered the market, they created a nice fancy bottle, slapped a beautiful label on it, made it look good, and the liquid that was inside of it wasn't worth the price that they're asking. They're about to get squeezed.
how many bottles have we tried where the presentation was amazing? It was very Art Deco,
Oh, I know one of the ones I know the one you're going for. Like, I can pull that name.
and whenever you drink it, you're like, that
It's
was a
good.
letdown.
It's good. It's not great.
It's very adequate.
Would it be fair? Would it be fair to say? Would it be fair to say that they might need some icing with that
Ooh, I love
particular whiskey?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah,
Or there maybe there should be issued a 5-minute penalty for fighting, because
You're right there.
They
You're
picked
right
the
there.
fight.
You're right there.
right? Those are the ones that I think are going to have problems because the whiskey market's changing. Go look everywhere right now in southern Louisiana. All the bottles that people have been wanting, they're on the shelf right now, which is crazy. Now, not the highest of the high end, but the stuff that people were paying $200 for when it was a $60 bottle, you can find those all over.
But not even a $60 bottle. Things that were like $42, $50, like things that were the basement stuff that people started chasing hard that
thought
should
you were
have
about to
been
say
a
a
bottom
name
shelf drinker.
And it went
is
to
now,
secondary
Yeah, it
market.
went to secondary, and you're like, well, I had a case of this a month ago, and now I can't find one because all of a sudden.
So
like
I'm
you said,
gonna
the bougies were
pick on one, and you can find it. It's great. It's won beautiful awards and all this. McKenna 10 was a $35 bottle when it won the gold medal at the San Francisco Wine and Spirits Festival.
Right. But I mean, how many did I mule for you'd found? You're like, hey, can you find some?
Yeah.
I was finding them at 27, 32. And then
Right.
like 3 months later, you're like,
Now
hey, I
they're-
need one more. And I was like, it's $48. And you were like, give me a day.
Well, and the worst part is
You know?
now they're 67,
67. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And people were paying at that time $100, $110 a bottle for a $30 bottle of whiskey.
And I've been drinking all of mine.
Yeah, I mean it's
Well, that's-
it's a great drinker, but not at the price that they're asking.
It ain't a dust color.
I think we've seen that I think we've seen the buoy of pricing inflate, and I think it's about to pop.
So the $200 bottle of Blanton's is going to be back to regular price soon?
No.
I don't know that it's coming back to regular price soon, but what I'm saying is right now I can probably name 3 places where you could go find that bottle for under $100,
And,
and it's on the shelf just sitting there. Caleb,
That's the thing is the secondary market has gotten so saturated. Everybody wanting 2 and 3 times retail.
Yeah.
And look, I can justify retail. I can justify a little bit more on some things because of the experience I'm going to have with it. But the God's honest truth is you're only promised so many chances to enjoy life to its fullest. And at some point, you outrun your pocketbook and you outrun the experience.
So I agree with y'all 100% on that. And I think we're going to see a waffle effect, right? Like some will come down and some are going to try to keep their price.
Yeah.
Like we always do, right? Like we're going to see that cap and we're going to see it do this. You're going to see some small retail that need to make their margin because they bought it 6 months ago. And then you're going to see the bigger places who bought recently and like, ooh, we need to come down. And so if you're out there hunting, be careful of where you're at and start to negotiate.
so what I will tell you, if you are listening to this show, and I get the 1 minute finger, this is a great way to wrap up this segment. If you listen to Implicit Bias, if you are in our listening areas, you've got the opportunity to go see one of the Implicit Bias Liquor Collective partners. Those are the places, and it's one of the reasons why they're partners, where you will find these bottles at non-full secondary price. I'm not going to say that prices won't vary a little here and there, but they do their best to do right by their customers and not stick it to their customers and try and make $150 on one bottle. They'd rather make their money selling every bottle they have and getting rid of that inventory. This is Implicit Bias Radio. We're going to come back. We got some great stories in hour 2. We're going to solve the problems of the world, and we're, 5, 6 whiskeys at a time in. It'll be tons of fun. Cheers. We'll be right back. Does anybody remember in the Pink Panther, and I mean like the original Pink Panther movies, Peter Sellers? I know, Renee, you remember those movies.
You talking cartoon or movies?
No, movies.
I know both.
Movies. Okay.
Okay.
What was the name of Inspector Clouseau's costume designer? Remember, he was a master of costume,
Oh,
and
yeah, he was the master of disguise, but I don't remember
Disguise.
the designer.
the designer had a very specific name. He was Professor Balls. Do you remember that?
No.
Yes.
I don't
No.
remember him.
Oh.
Well, no, yes, actually, Caleb picked up what I was putting down. Tim,
Yeah.
as in the governor of where? The
Minnesota.
state of Minnesota. Yeah. Look, we got to solve the problems
I
of
saw
the
where
world.
this was going.
And this is one. So I think that's Tim Ball's new nickname. He's the master of disguise. I think people think he's Somali now.
Grant had another nickname for him.
Oh, yeah, Tampon Tim.
Yep.
Well, but that wasn't Grant's nickname.
Well, I mean, he
That
loved
came.
to scream it.
He did, but that came from somebody else.
Well, I can expound upon that, but maybe that's bonus content. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Save that one for a minute.
So, has anybody been following the Somali Medicaid fraud scandal going on in Minnesota?
They're up to $18 billion,
Not million.
billion with a B, that and they're still finding more, but it's 18 billion so far that they have found that has been defrauded.
Allegedly.
I don't
They
think,
just because
No
they
proof yet.
I don't
okay,
think
so
there's a legend.
so to be fair, there's 18 billion in
It had-
fraud.
it
And
had
who
gone-
did it is alleged.
Do we
Right.
know if
They
it's all
haven't-
state funded or is that federal?
Well,
money?
it's-
Federal funding.
Oh.
It's state and well, it's probably some state, but majority of it is federal because federal backs all states.
So that's where my
Medicaid.
question comes
And
from. Is,
it's not just Medicaid; it's also the SNAP programs,
Yeah,
the food
yeah,
programs, welfare,
It's a
everything.
bunch of programs.
Yeah.
so if
It's like
that's
14
federal
programs.
money, then who should do the investigation?
Oh, if it's federal money, there is no doubt who has jurisdiction, which is what you're asking. And the feds, the DOJ, has jurisdiction.
And if that's the case, then shouldn't we see certain heads not necessarily roll, but get shifted over during the investigation?
Oh, there is no doubt.
Maybe a removal of individuals.
There is no doubt that what we should see is that someone, at a minimum, someone, because here's the really crazy part. What they were
Someone's
finding, correct, what they were finding was that there were entire businesses set up just to defraud the Medicaid program in Minnesota.
Okay.
And like literally it was somebody in an office claiming they were doing something else and sending in fake bills and getting these bills paid because the systems are so disjointed. Well, no, they're just disjointed. So what you've got is, and this was really interesting because if you dig into, and it was actually Paul and I had this conversation, none of these systems talk. So you've got a state system that
don't
doesn't
talk
talk to a federal
They
system.
don't talk to each other.
So they don't know, oh, this person doesn't live in this state. They just get the communication that says this is the filing for the federal. And because they don't have that consistent flow of information back and forth, you've got people who are registered in 6 states and all receiving benefits in 6 states.
Okay. So
and
the
hold on.
question, I got a question right now. So who is responsible? The state person that handles all the programs or the federal person that submits or relinquishes the
okay.
money to the state person?
So hold on. So here's a lot of what you have. What you have is that there is a state person responsible that allegedly signs off on the validity of the information that is sent to the federal government, which is how we get Professor Balls now involved in oversight of his state programs to the tune of $18 billion that was defrauded in all of these programs.
And look, we do not want the state electronic systems communicating clearly and concisely with the federal. I'll tell you that right now. No, we don't.
Oh,
because-
we might disagree on this
No,
one.
because once we do, things like background checks, employment
I
checks,
get that.
all the other stuff, protected rights that the citizens have in their states are now trampled on.
Okay, so
by the
follow me
federal
here.
government because the federal government wants access. What we should have is the state should provide better oversight to protect its citizens and to protect its taxpayers. If
So,
the state can't do that, then the state shouldn't get the federal money.
so follow me here. What I think is I think you should have certain information should flow. So for example,
Well, that requires a constitutional amendment. Certain requires a constitutional amendment. So look here in this.
crap, you're right.
Yes, he's right.
I know he's right, but because what I'm thinking is if you are receiving federal funds, then your information should flow through because you relinquish that right to receive those funds from the federal government, right?
But then
So-
does it stop?
But-
When does the
but-
government
but
stop at a
that's-
certain point?
But that's the
So
point.
it
yeah,
becomes
yeah,
more
yeah,
than
yeah,
just
yeah.
funds.
I get it.
Okay, so come back to how we verified everything in the federal government that Doge exposed, right?
We did,
I
and
know,
that's
I know,
why
what
Doge
I'm
exposed
saying.
it.
But that's what I'm saying. So all we had was the verification system of name and system, right? And then all the others were supposed to go and check across that.
So
And
what?
Look how corrupt that was, and then we're going to double layer.
Well, and that's the problem is if we streamline it, which streamlining sounds great because it saves money, but when will government overreach stop?
So here's where I think we need someone on the IT side like Elon Musk who can sit down with an independent system. So you need a third-party system, a clearinghouse where the information goes to, and they can cross-reference. And they're like, hey, wait a minute. Joey Bag of Donuts is listed in Louisiana as receiving $1,300 a month in SNAP. Joey Bag of Donuts is also listed in Texas, Wisconsin, New York, and Rhode Island for receiving those funds there as well. Is this the same Joey Bag of Donuts?
got a crowd question.
Oh, we got a
we
question
got an
from
audience. We have a
studio
question
audience.
from the
do.
audience.
Hold on.
We do need a checks and balances. We do. But, and look, I don't trust the government.
I don't disagree
So
with you.
that-
I
that's
get it.
where that's where we get difficult because there's certain parts where like the government doesn't even know everything about everyone. But if there is a name match, a birthday match, we don't even look at social security numbers. It should go to a second review, and somebody from that state level.
Well, I mean, and if the state person is found to be fraudulent or doesn't take care of it, then they go to jail.
That's where the checker checks and
No,
the doer
no.
does.
You know what happens to that person? We smite them with hemorrhoids. That's what needs to happen to that person.
God,
I'm gonna smite you with hemorrhoids.
oh my God.
What?
Oh,
Like the worst hemorrhoid you could possibly have.
they're jumping up 23 years in age. Like, imagine touching your toes now. Like, oh.
So Paul doesn't have a mic, and it's awkward to try and work this in. We're gonna work in
Paul,
Paul
look-
in the next segment, and we're gonna let him jump in.
He can low curl right here. And-
no.
Come and, or use Aaron's
Actually, he
mic.
can use
Use
Aaron's
Tug's
mic. Yeah,
Use
he can
Tug's
use
mic.
Aaron's mic.
Oh.
So we're gonna give him Tug's mic and
No.
see kind of what his thoughts are here.
So y'all are playing the game. No federal funding. And that makes it super easy. Stop giving money out.
Ring the bell.
You mean the federal
That's
government's
it.
job isn't to
Distribute money?
capitalize and disperse money that isn't theirs?
That's it.
Oh
That's
my God, we're going
100%.
back to 1775. How wonderful! 3% tax on
things
tea.
things were a lot better back then.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And Caleb, you can make this joke. I can't. But who would have thought that the Marine in the room would have been the one with the best answer we've had on this yet?
They're right one time a year.
Hey, Paul, what's your favorite color?
Whatever the 8-color box has.
Paul's probably he's a purple crayon.
Tastes
what's
pretty
that?
good. Tastes
Yeah, but what
whichever
color?
one.
Oh,
Purple
purple.
crayon.
Yeah,
Okay.
purple crayon
All
has the best
I
flavor.
Like,
Look,
I like that.
But you can't
Marines.
confuse them. That's why you give them the 8-crayon box.
Right. Well,
But this is the beauty of this conversation,
Very
which
wonderful
is
point. Very
it's gotten us down to the fact that we now realize we're going along here. It's gotten us down to the point where we now realize that there's massive fraud going on,
Right.
and it puts
Oh, and this
something.
is-
Hold no, it
and
puts
this
something,
is only from one state.
but it puts something that happened in that state in a very new light.
Right. But this is only from one state we found out so far.
Renee, we're over. I gotta be succinct here. What happened? Not 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, in that state that was highly suspicious.
Was it the flag
Oh,
change?
a murder.
It was not
Oh,
the
no,
flag
it
change.
wasn't even that long ago. It was in June
It was in June
this year.
of this year.
And why? Because she would not.
A state lawmaker
Vote.
voted in a way that the Democratic Party didn't want. And what happened to her and her family?
Days later. Days
Within
later.
Four.
days.
4 or 5 days later.
Now it makes you wonder, did she
What?
know something?
Wasn't there two of them though?
There
There
was
was two.
one that was successful. I think there was another attempt.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he
I
wounded
thought-
another at their
Oh,
home.
okay.
He wounded
But
another.
to your point, so take a step back and now we have to look at it from what we know now and go, oh, was a message being sent here?
But let's look at the community that it is. I know we're going to wrap, but look at the community and the amount of immigrants that were brought in there to make that change and run those programs
Well-
through. And is that not a carbon copy anywhere else? Big question.
Big question. We'd love to know all the answers on Implicit Bias Radio. We'll be right back. We are buying artwork on this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio as we head into 2026. I think this story hopefully will finally happen when we get to 2026. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. We've got the Rustic Renegade, our co-host Caleb Morse, who's in the house and has been waxing a little poetic during the breaks, man. I mean, you were on point there.
Yeah, sometimes I run off on a tangent.
If you want to hear that, find the bonus content on buzzsprout.com, Implicit Bias Radio. It is subscriber content. Renee, trust me, is our quality control. He makes sure that you get your $3 worth. Am I right, Renee?
It's worth every $3 you spend. Or
There
as
you
Lee
go.
says, 12 quarters.
There you go. All right, and that is the certified wizard of tobacco. Drunkle maybe in the house? No? You good? Okay. And Lee Ritter, who spot checks up in the TSPL every now and then. Great to have you with us. Fantastic that you're here. Okay, so we were on the Jeffrey Epstein story on this show. Again, one of those ring the bell, the conspiracy theorists were right. We were on the Jeffrey Epstein story when we started the show in 2020. I mean, we were talking about Jeffrey Epstein basically from the get-go. And as we get more information, we've done our best to put all that information out there. One of the things that I always found really interesting about the raid on Jeffrey Epstein's, $3 million, $4 million brownstone home in New York City were two paintings that he had. One painting was of Bill Clinton in a blue dress in the Oval Office. Please don't believe me on this. Look this up. The other painting he had that was really interesting was George Bush sitting in front of the Resolute desk with Lincoln logs an airplane in his hand, and what looked like two towers toppled. The symbolism there is deep. Really, really deep. And that's the really cool thing about art, is the symbolism in art usually tells you, as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. And then we find out this week, as some Epstein files are coming to light, that there was another piece of artwork in Jeffrey Epstein's bathroom. Did y'all see this?
No,
I did.
I didn't.
Okay.
Some of us read what was sent to us.
I wasn't sent any.
No, he
topics.
wasn't sent that.
I didn't get the
It
homework.
doesn't matter. You're 1,000 years old.
Yeah, I was there for all of it.
Okay. Oh, wait. Renee's in the Epstein files? I can't
I'm
wait for
sure-
this to come out.
My name's been redacted.
Okay.
You know, they ordered highlighters, but they were black. You know, that's what it was.
Renee was a victim.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell. That was funny. Okay, so the artwork. The artwork. The symbolism in this artwork.
Did you catch where
Yes.
this
Yeah,
painting
that's
was done?
It wasn't just it's not where it was done, it's where it was hung.
Right.
So you've got the
Where it was
symbolism
hung.
of the artwork
Right.
and the symbolism of where it is hung in the house. You've got multiple levels of symbolism going here. So this painting is apparently, and it's more of a caricature of four people than it is a painting.
And so for those of you who don't know, a caricature is an exaggeration of features.
Yes.
And all the exaggerations were above the waist, by the way.
Only Caleb would be
Did
that
you not
quick
notice that?
to go there. No,
You didn't notice that.
I'm not. They all had very large melons,
He was,
which
checking waistlines.
in the case of Adam,
Yes, that's where firearms are stored.
Which-
that's where
That's
threats
what I was
are.
getting at.
which in the case of Adam Schiff, an exceptionally large melon would not surprise me.
That's on par.
Right? And by melon, I mean his physical head. If you look at the man, he looks like a stick figure with a watermelon for a forehead. Whole different story.
A good
Anyway,
breeze topples them over. But so it's in the restroom. Where is the image?
so the
portraying.
image is of two people standing in front of the stairway to get on a plane,
Yeah.
and two people walking up the stairway to get in the plane. The two people talking in front of the plane, Bill Clinton speaking with Jeffrey Epstein. The two people getting on the plane,
Walking up the stairs.
walking up the stairs.
Well, I'll guarantee you, one of them isn't Joe Biden.
No, he'd have fallen down the stairs.
John Kerry.
Ring the bell. No, I thought it was Adam Schiff. I thought it was Adam Schiff and Barack Obama.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. Yes, I'm Schiff.
It is
Barack Obama.
Adam Schiff
Yeah.
and Barack Obama walking up the stairs to get into the plane that was known as the Lolita Express.
Well, do y'all know when that caricature took place? Like
No.
It's in Tel Aviv.
No.
Oh, that's a whole nother level. And where it was hung was above the toilet in the bathroom,
Yep.
which is another level of symbolism.
So 2016 Tel Aviv. Look it up, and the image correlation between the two of them.
So it was a caricature of an actual picture.
Yes.
So wait a minute. This is a bigger step forward.
It's you.
There is a physical picture of Bill Clinton shaking hands with Jeffrey Epstein while Barack Obama and Adam Schiff walk up the stairs to Epstein's private plane in Tel Aviv.
It's after a funeral in Tel Aviv in, I believe, 2016. They all got together for this funeral.
I ain't saying, but I'm just saying. And here's the beautiful part of this. The beautiful part of this is that there are people out there who try to reframe all this and say our current president is guilty of. Now, look, if he's guilty, we always give this disclaimer. If anyone is guilty of this, jail, I'm Catholic, so I can't say death penalty, but man, it's hard not to. But
I would be happy with jail.
jail for good would
You
be
know,
fine.
Hillary still ain't in jail yet.
But the point is,
Oh my God.
if these people are guilty of this, right, they need to be punished. But there are a lot of people who are trying to reframe this. And we saw this last week when they took a legitimate picture, blacked out the faces, and claimed it was our current president with former victims, or with victims, not former victims, because they're always victims, but with victims. And that picture was as innocuous as could be because they were Miss USA pageant or Miss Universe, whatever. But the point here is this, and here's the big point. The big point is Julian Assange was the greatest document released through WikiLeaks in the history of journalism. Remember when WikiLeaks released everything, Renee?
Oh yeah.
Anybody know what Julian Assange once said about Donald Trump?
I don't remember that.
No.
He actually said, if there was dirt to release on Donald Trump, I would release it. But there's nothing that I can find in the greatest document release in the history of leaks from any government. There's zero, according to Julian Assange,
Well,
on Donald Trump.
and I mean, also they keep bringing up, there's pictures of Trump's that was in Epstein's desk with a victim. But guess what? One of the victims was an employee of Trump's that Epstein took.
Or tried
from
to.
him. No, took.
He did succeed.
He did.
Okay.
He got her to
And-
talked her away from working at Mar-a-Lago and went to the island. And she's the girl who committed suicide
And Trump
Yeah.
kicked Epstein out of the club for doing it.
because of that. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So here's the bigger thing that you have to recognize, and we'll wrap this up. Thank you, Tug. The biggest thing you have to recognize is this. If they had the proof on him, you think they wouldn't have released it already?
No, I said this to all my friends. They're like, oh, that, and I'm not
I
a
mean,
Trump
you had
lover.
4
So
years.
two
Yeah,
of
but
them?
I'm not a Trump lover. But like everybody's like, well, the Epstein list is going to prove everything. I'm like, don't you think if the left had all that info at that time, they would have unloaded like a dump truck after Christmas?
yeah.
Already, right?
I mean,
Already.
it would have happened.
And guess what? We're going to unload in the final segment of this week's episode of Implicit Bias. Final segment of this week's episode of Implicit Bias Radio. And man, when I tell you this one is one that's going to be a little bit deceiving as we get into this final segment, because the story headline and the story they're trying to tell isn't exactly the story that's the truth. Might be more of their truth. I'm your host, Kevon Bordelon. Caleb Morse, the Rustic Renegade, your co-host, is here, as well as at the bar. Short Pour has made his way back in. Good to have you back.
Back in.
And Lee Ritter is in as well. This is going to be a topic, Ritter, that you are going to want to jump in on.
We'll see about that.
You got to actually wait for Tug to turn on the mic and do his job.
Oh, he's
There
late
we
on
go.
everything over there. I see. I'm watching his fingers move, and it's like I have to step behind. And he hasn't even had a drink yet. There he's working.
Yeah, he's messing with you now. Okay, so for the bourbon whiskey drinkers out there, we love to do topics that are a little different at the end of each show, at the beginning of each show, so that we can weave in stories. Yeah, I just couldn't come up with the
Good
right
for you.
couldn't come up with the right word, so that we can weave in a little bit of jovial topic, a little bit of lighthearted topic with some of the serious political stuff that we do. And this one is one that I think a lot of bourbon drinkers.
A lot of think.
A lot of
A
think.
lot of think.
I was trying to go too fast.
I lot of think at this point.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot
don't
of
feel
extra.
bad. I'll drive you home tonight.
No, I'm actually all good. But I think a lot of
Nope.
people are going to initially think is bad news, but I believe is fantastic news. So it was announced today, the day that we recorded this episode of Implicit Bias Radio, that Jim Beam is scaling back production. And Jim Beam, for those who don't know, does not just make Jim Beam.
So let me just do a quick correction that it was actually in December 20th at the Miami Herald.
Okay.
But
so,
that's okay. Just
well,
for
that was
folks.
a Saturday that it popped up and we got it.
But that's okay.
Thank you.
I just
appreciate
want
the
for
correction.
people to
Yeah.
look at it like we're a little later on that as part of this show. But if they're going to look on the 20th, it was actually legit.
Well, and here's the deal. You're probably not going to find this discussion going on.
Correct.
Definitely in mainstream news media, much less
No,
anywhere
well,
else.
no.
It's very niche because
Yeah.
you're talking about Jim Beam. You're talking about
Well, talk about what happened first.
Knob Creek, Basil Hayden,
Yes.
Bookers.
Keep going.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of different brands that are
I forget
involved
all of them, but you
under
just
that
had-
distillery.
That's a big envelope. It's like one of the 4 or 5 big envelopes.
My favorite part of this is that they are saying, well, number one, we've all talked about on this show, I don't want to say ad nauseum, but close, about the decline of liquor consumption in 2025 in the United States. So let's start there. That market is constricting. In other words, people are not spending nearly as much on liquor in 2025 as they did in 2024, to the tune of over $20 billion. It's
Damn
a
you,
lot of money.
legalization of marijuana.
It's a lot of money. So that's where you start. When you start getting really into the numbers and you start thinking about distilleries like Jim Beam, you go, all right, why would they restrict production? Well, I'll give you the answer that they first gave. The first thing that they put out there, they actually said the word tariff.
Yeah, but that was the easy answer.
But hold on a minute. Let's this is why you have to ask critical questions. Where is Jim Beam made?
United States.
That would be a USA product.
It's a product in the United States. Where is their largest market?
The United States.
That would be in the United States. Do they sell to Canada? Sure.
maybe a little.
Not much.
The Canadian. They drink like unsweetened tea. We don't care.
And Canadian Mist.
Correct.
Ooh.
They have their own brands, to be honest, right? I
In
mean,
plastic jars.
they have Club Canadian, they have Seagram's, which they have Crown Royal, which comes. I mean, they
A bunch
Now,
of friendly brands.
I'll be honest with you. They have Mastersons, which I love.
Mastersons is a delicious
Okay,
product.
it is
Get
really
one
good.
winner.
Yeah, they got one.
But the point here is tariffs are not causing U.S. distilleries to
No.
stop production. I'll give you our opinion.
No, your
Mine
opinion.
specifically.
Your opinion.
No, you agreed with it though,
Well, we'll see.
which is for those who followed the bourbon and whiskey market in the U.S. in the last 7 to 10 years, there was a very consistent pattern of behavior by distilleries and groups that backed themselves into a corner the minute they got into any sort of trouble. And that was one word: allocation.
Yes. Yes.
In other words, distilleries and distributors. So the distilleries aren't the only ones to blame. The distilleries and the distributors would sit on stuff and make people buy cheap stuff in order to get the stuff that everybody wanted. So what did that do?
So it made people corner the market. And in my opinion, it wasn't so much the distilleries, it was the distributors playing favorites in regions and in counties and parishes.
That was a
and
big part of
states. And that's what now's coming to do.
Well, here's the bigger reason why. The bigger reason why is by the distilleries and the distributors hoarding certain things. What did it make the consumer do?
Well, they changed their mind.
No.
No.
Okay.
They tried alternatives.
That not only did they try
They looked
alternatives,
elsewhere.
they hoarded their own stuff.
Yeah.
True.
Because if somebody wanted a Knob Creek 12, and I'm going to pick on Jim Beam here for this reason. Knob Creek 12 is really difficult to find in Louisiana. You could find it in every other state. And maybe not every other,
Okay,
but my
so
point is
Many
so
other
what
states.
would happen is though, the consumer, when they found it, if they were in another state or if they found it here, what was their desire?
Well, they would
I'm
hoard.
not going to buy one that I'm going to drink. I'm going to buy two, and I'm going to go by the Lee Ritter rule, which is if I have one, I have none. If I have two, I have one to drink. If I have three, I have a spare.
Well,
no,
they're
that's-
buying
the
one to
spare
sell
is the
one,
Caleb.
not one
That's
to
the third.
enjoy one.
But-
That's the part.
But then,
we don't count past two.
but now what's happened? Now the consumer is overstocked on whiskey.
Correct. On certain products
Well-
that are allocated in certain areas.
But
That's
now,
because
now you've got collectors who have overstocked on so
You
much
had
stuff.
so many people who were driven by the secondary market because they thought, well, I'll turn around and sell it for triple the price. I'll make a profit, and mine's free.
Yes.
And that's where you run into the problem with resellers and collectors.
Well, the
right?
true connoisseur,
So when you,
the true connoisseurs didn't care, right?
Yeah.
Like those that
When-
like
when you-
that are probably everybody in here were collecting and drinking, right?
Yeah, when you
but
collect
there are
something, you
some
collect it 'cause you
that
enjoy
were
it,
like,
not to
I'm
sell
going to
it.
get 3 or 4 Blantons. I want to get the full run and sell the whole setup. And who gives a crap, right? Like,
nobody
nobody
gives a
cares.
well, we've had
It's not that
now,
great.
We see the problem in the whiskey world that we see in the gun world, right? So we see in our industry allocated. I know Renee sees this. It's allocated. We got to spend $100,000 a year with us in order to get these 3 products. So I got to buy all this other crap to sell 3 of your stuff at retail. Well, that's not worth it. So what are we going to do? We're going to put someone else in a similar product for a better bargain, and we're going to move on and be happy.
So to Caleb's point, what they have done is they created a market for their competitors, number one. Number two, they forced people to stockpile their stuff. Because if you could only
How
get
dare you stockpile?
a certain number of bottles at a certain time, you were going to get what you could get so that you'd have stuff to drink later. Now that people are slowing down on the purchase of bottles of whiskey and you're seeing the entire liquor market come down, they're blaming tariffs. No, you did this to yourself, trying to get a premium price for a product that now they're choking on their own inventory.
But let's remember some of these factors, right? So we talked about the apex was between 17 and 19.
Fair.
Then everybody sat down. I see the finger, so I'll be quick. So we had a mass production in 20. Well, it takes 4 to 5 years to produce the base level stuff, right?
And
And
they're-
what year are we in? 2025.
2025.
So we're starting to see that 5-year stuff come out. So what we're going to see the next 3 to 5 years is all that stuff that would have been produced 5 years ago to be hitting the market, and no one's buying.
And guess what? You say no one's buying. We say everyone's buying, especially when you're buying for your implicit bias. Find us on all our socials, YouTube, X, Instagram. Follow, like, subscribe. It helps us. It helps the show. It helps us continue your implicit bias. Happy New Year and cheers from the crew here in the TSPL.